Hello again, welcome back. It's Raving Eagle Media presents Rob and Mike's Nostalgia, News, and Nonsense. We're going on to episode 4, because we did ignore it, Revenge of the Sith.
Star Wars Episode 3, our 4th episode. So, that's just the way it is. We kind of dwelled on whatever episode we were at, and we ignored Revenge of the Sith, which is the redeeming happiness of the prequel trilogy, even though it's the most depressing thing in history. Not much really bad about Revenge of the Sith. The opening, the Battle of Coruscant, going from that to the crash to the turn to,
That was, you know what, that was pretty solid. I mean, come on. The look on Dooku's face. Master? you gotta love the twists and turns you found, even though you were expecting some of them. Some of them were kind of tropey, but still they were there. Tropes are not bad. They're sometimes necessary, usable.
There was some crazy Ex Machina stuff going on that even Jedi aren't going to do, like crashing a 10% of a ship and not crashing and surviving and all kinds of that, stuff like that. But I think some of the symmetry that was in Revenge of the Sith, showing towards Empire and Return of the Jedi, was cool. Like how the room, where, what the hell's, Chancellor, Palpatine was being held in the beginning, where they go and free him, looks just like the throne room in the Death Star. Lots of symmetry like that in the movie. Go back and watch the original trilogy. Then forget the first two movies, really. Just go watch Revenge of the Sith. There's a lot of mix between it, and it's intentional, and I think it's well done. The Mace Windu fight with Palpatine was awesome. The how Palpatine was like, "Hey, save me!" And back and forth. That was kind of cool. And I do like that Windu didn't die. I can hope that he's somewhere down there, 3 miles down, just hanging out like, crap, okay, I'm going to go find Yoda in a decade or something.
And like you said, there was a lot of symmetry. If you look, look at a Jedi Starfighter. Look at a TIE Fighter. The cockpits kind of, they're smashed. The Jedi Starfighter kind of reminds you, if you look at it, of the TIE Defender. Stuff like that. There was a lot of things that crossed over, and hey people, you know what? I grew up in the 80s, I played video games in the 90s, and I'm sorry, I played X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and I played more TIE Fighter Imperial all the way.
Yeah, I think Revenge of the Sith is awesome all the way through for the most part. There's little bits and pieces that are a little rough. The whole, oh my god, I'm going to kill my wife thing, which he does, because that's what was going to happen. The end of this thing where she dies giving birth, you knew it was going to happen, and you knew it was going to be a little quasi-cheesy, but it is what it is. It's kind of how the movie was going to go.
If you knew the originals, you knew all that was going to happen.
That last 5 minutes of the movie, you might as well, as soon as the battle's done on, what is that planet?
I forget now.
What's the law? Someone put it in the comments, because I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, please.
Because,
I'm sure one of you know, or somebody will look it up.
Yeah, we're going to get just bashed on it. It's okay. We're retarded for a minute.
We know that.
I can't sit and go watch it real quick because it's upstairs somewhere in the world of death. So, anyway, but after Anakin leaves and then Vader's put back together and you hear James Earl Jones screaming, pretty much at that point just turn the movie off, because it's, you know what's coming on from then on. That's generally what I do. I don't really have a whole lot of need for much beyond that.
Nah. I agree with you. Just, you knew it was coming, you knew it was going to happen, it's done. Except
for the little glimpse of the Death Star, that was kind of cool with Tarkin sitting there being like 24 years old, where they get rid of they kind of show towards the fact that they're phasing out clones and going back to humans, that type of thing, because they don't need them anymore, and humans are more controllable than clone type things, and you can't just have someone flip a switch and take your whole human army over unless you're just retarded.
That I'd have to say, you just reminded me of my thought. That was one of the sadder moments of the entire movie. Order 66. Like when you see the different Jedi and they're fighting alongside the clone troopers, and the clone troopers have become, comrades and friends to some of them, and all of a sudden, they turn around and they're like, wait, what? And they're being mowed down by them all of a sudden. Some characters that just, even the small glimpses through the prequel trilogy that you came to know, and suddenly, they're being mowed down by people they were fighting alongside, and it's just, it's a sad moment.
Except for Chewie and Yoda, man, because Chewie and Yoda, that's pimping right there. But anyway, you have to, I think you have to stomach the first two movies to get to the third. It's just like Lord of the Rings. You don't watch, Fellowship and Two Towers because they're amazing movies independently. You watch it for the overall trilogy aspect of it. And Star Wars began the concept of trilogies really with the first trilogy, New Hope, Empire, so you can get to Return of the Jedi, so you can see the battle over Endor, and you can see the Empire take a big blow. Doesn't mean they fall, but because of all of their control that they had, and although the Abrams universe kind of changed that, but we jump forward, so we don't know what's happened in the gap yet. We really don't understand that yet. But you understand the Emperor falls, Death Star 2.0 is toast, and the Rebels more or less are starting to consolidate some control, but you don't know much beyond that. Expanded universe, I know y'all love it. I like it too. He said it doesn't matter. It does not really relevant because of the way Force Awakens was made. So you can't use anything that was written in books or written in comics or pasted on the wall in the bathroom. If it's expanded universe, it does not count anymore. So you got to wait until we get some more info from future movies that give us a little more backstory in the gap, because I think that'd be really interesting to do some fill in on that to see how we went from, okay, we have the Hosian system, which is control of the Republic, which means they won somehow in the end, but you let the First Order show up and blow up stuff and you didn't check that? I mean, so you have more or less two governments running cohesively in the universe, or what's going on? So we want some clarity in that. So Disney, if you're watching and I know you love making money, give us some story on that and some current universe stuff. That'd be really cool. I'd really appreciate that. You get all my money anyway, so why not go ahead and give me something cool for it?
Yeah. Like Mike said, never mind Abrams. Lord Mickey said, expanded universe is now Legends. Go look on the wiki. It doesn't say EU anymore. It says Legends for a reason. It is no longer canon. It's switching over, but that does allow room for new media stuff to come out to be able to expand in the sections that are now canon. The things that do need explanation that are been removed because, what explains them goes too much into the now Legends section of the whole lore. So it really needs, it has an opportunity. There's stuff to expand into. There's stuff we just love to know. I'm a fluff person. I love, when you're reading a role-play game and they give you all this description just on a blaster.
Serious.
That means nothing. And it's just there for color. The color is what makes it enjoyable.
He's one of these guys that picks up toys and reads all this stuff on it that says, Iron Man, made by Tony Stark, showed up, but, beats Wolf. He's one of these guys that reads that stuff. Whereas me, I'd much rather, take the toy out, play with it, that kind of thing, and play the video game, because Avengers, what more do you want? But anyway, it's Disney, so it's okay. We can put other Disney products in here, too. That's cool. But anyway, so that's the conclusion of our prequel run. I really look forward to some of the stuff Abrams and Disney can do together, because Disney, a lot of people think they have done a horrible job on a lot of stuff. That's actually incorrect. Anybody that likes Marvel, the Marvel movies, for the most part, there's been some ifs and dans and nicks and knacks and stuff like that, but Avengers 1, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, because the shooting, because the way Josh Whedon did it, because how they made it cohesive. He took just enough comic book stuff, smashed it together, and I'd like to see them take some of that with Star Wars and take a little bit of expanded universe. If I don't see Mara Jade show up before the time we get to episode 9, I'm going to be pissed off. That's all there is to that. Mara Jade needs to show up. Luke needs to be like, hey, baby, I got my suit. But anyway, we need to have Mara Jade from expanded universe, because just because they're ignoring it and it became Legends doesn't mean they can't pick pieces that make sense and use it anyway. Because, I mean, that cohesiveness between them and expanded universe before they chucked it out my window made it just an amazing flow from that point on, that he has something he cares about besides, the Force and the Jedi. All of a sudden he has something that Jedi aren't supposed to have, which is a true love, which is pretty much the problem with Anakin, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and have some cool stuff, Disney.
Let's see, like we said, there's possibilities for new stuff, there's possibilities for taking pieces from the expanded and using it to fill in what we want to know, the gaps that are there, and we have to see what they do and how they do it. We can't just say that, it's crap because it's not what we followed, what we were used to. I mean, yes, that was one of the beautiful things about the Star Wars canon, is the fact that they took all that information, they made it expanded universe, unlike some, franchises where, anything that's in the published books, even through the official publisher, is not canon. So we have to see what they do and how they fill in their gaps and complete their universe.
And Disney, please, this is the one thing I would really like to request, besides Mara Jade, because she's a redhead, she's a hottie, let's go ahead and get her in there. But if you can actually call up Timothy Zahn, I'm sure you got his number floating around somewhere, and be like, hey, here's our concepts for episode 8. What do you think? You don't have to, let him rewrite the whole thing or do anything. He's an amazing story writer. He's done a great job with all the books he's written. Outbound Flight was good. I think that was him. Heir to the Empire, Vision of the Future, Spectre of the Past. All those are great books. Those are probably the best things that have been written on Star Wars that are not movies themselves, and some of them even eclipse some of the existing movies. I can't say enough about what he's done for the Star Wars universe. That's been fun. It's been enjoyable. There's been everything you came to expect from Star Wars and more. He wrote as well as the person that wrote Empire Strikes Back. Someone put that in the comments. I do not remember who wrote Empire Strikes Back, and I don't have a freaking copy laying around anywhere that I can get to. So, anyway, we ran over time probably. That's Rob. I'm Mike, I think.
We'll remember eventually.